Ariel Helwani in Las Vegas for UFC 197 alongside the reigning, defending UFC flyweight champion Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, who faces Henry Cejudo this Saturday on pay-per-view. Demetrious, good to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you, Ariel.
A lot to discuss. I got to ask you about this Conor McGregor situation. Everyone's buzzing about it, and you in particular, because you've been a champion for a long time, and you're asked to do a lot of things, promotion and whatnot. When you read what he wrote today, did you kind of sympathize with him?
Yeah, I understood him. I've never picked sides between the UFC and Conor McGregor. I say they're both doing their thing. Conor does what he wants. The man's got toys that spit fire. UFC has thousands of athletes underneath its promotion. So, yeah, I understand what he means, man. You guys had to come from Iceland. He doesn't want to break camp. I'm a huge believer. I don't like to break camp either. I've done it before, only specifically for UFC events. But other people have asked me to come to do things, and I say no because I'm in a military training, because I believe at the end of the day, you can do all the promotional stuff you want. At the end of the day, if you're not fucking winning your fights, it makes no difference. Like, you could be the most liked guy ever. Well, not now. Nowadays, you can be the most liked guy ever and still lose fights and still make more money than the other guy who beat you up. But, you know, I understand where he's coming from, and it makes sense.
As fighters, do you guys talk about this sort of thing and say, like, yeah, you know, okay, good for Conor for speaking up and putting his foot down? Like, is this something that you guys as a fraternity speak about?
I think since all of us fighters will talk about it now, I think that's kind of us, but I don't think we have, like, you know,
meetings and things like that?
Meetings are like that with that. But yeah, other than that, you know, I talked to Jones about his stuff that happened with him, and I was like, it's BS what they did. But other than that, you know, that's as far as it goes.
What do you mean? What did they do?
Oh, I was pissed. I was like, man, fuck TMZ, man. How are they going to sell that video to the, how are they going to purchase that video and post it all online? And I was like, leave the fucking man alone, dude. Yeah. Like, who cares? It's none of our business. He got pulled over, you know what I mean? So I told him straight up, I was like, that was fucked up. They were basically arresting a black man driving a nice car. That's all it was to me.
Well, you know, it's interesting because everyone's talking about this thing, and it's taken so much attention away from this card. Yeah. This is no problem for you, though, right? Nope. This is business as usual.
This is business as usual. Day in the life of Demetrious Johnson. Yeah. I've been at a press conference where I only got asked one question. UFC 186, welcome to the show. Yeah. Got asked one question, went out there and took care of business, came home and got ready for the next one. So like I said, it's same as usual, same business. It's totally fine with me.
All right, so you're facing Henry Cejudo, and I feel like this is a fresh matchup. It's a different kind of opponent. It's not one that you've been in talks with for a long. It hasn't been a long drawn-out thing. It's something new. Yeah. Does he present that to you as well, like just a fresh challenge?
Yeah, I think all my even my rematches were a fresh challenge, because they're always going to bring something different to the table. You know, the only difference when I have the rematches is that finding my distance and finding their rhythm, it doesn't take as long. I guess you can say that. But other than that, yeah, I'm excited for the matchup. I mean, the guy's undefeated, so we'll see what happens.
You got to admit, though, some of his smack talk, pretty good, right? The cheese stuff. I mean, you appreciate that, right?
It's whatever. It's
come on.
I think
you can't give him any credit for that.
It's cute. You know. Not only mice and rats don't like just cheese; they like garbage. They like peanut butter. You know, I've actually put cheese in the garage on a mousetrap, and that came up empty-handed, just like he might. But I put peanut butter there. Little behold, we got his ass. So, but other than that, man, it's whatever. People are going to talk. People are going to sell fights, whatever. But for me, changes nothing for me.
That might have been your best soundbite yet.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? People in their soundbites, dude. I saw today, Fox Sports News, Demetrious Johnson and Cejudo do not sympathize with Conor. And I was like, I never said that, you cocksuckers. And then sure enough, you read the article, and I'm like, dude, Conor's doing his thing, UFC's doing their thing. That's all there is. And I was like, but you guys need the soundbites to be able to, yeah.
Don't get us started. Let me ask you about Embedded. You seem to enjoy that when they're following you and showing you on camera, right?
I don't mind it.
There was a moment, though, that I was kind of left in the dark about. You and your wife were speaking, and then you looked at the camera. Can you just clear the air? What were you guys talking about?
There was something left on the side of her bed. Yeah. You know.
I'm an inquisitive person.
I think it's a little rated R.
Oh, wow.
That's let you know what it is.
Okay, fair enough. I had no idea. Did you ever think that Demetrious Johnson might have been, and stay with me here, like a curse? And the only reason I say this is because the whole Cormier thing, you always are the co-main event, and then something happens to the main event, and then you get bumped to the main event, and then you have to, carry the promotion, things like that. And the second the news about Cormier came out, I thought of you. I was like, oh my God, it happened again to Demetrious. Did you think the same thing?
I don't. Yeah, I thought the same thing, but I don't see myself as that kind of curse or whatever. It just happens, Like I said, nothing changes for me. Fights are still gonna go on, and yeah, if I would have got bumped up to be the main event, and they would have pulled Jones and that Cormier fight and moved it to UFC 200, totally been fine with that. But it happens. It's part of the sport that we're in, and best wishes to Daniel Cormier. Hope he gets healthier.
But this is better though, right? To have Jon here as your co-pilot.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good. Always to put number one, number two, pound for pound in the world. To let the fans tune into it, so they're getting their money's worth.
You're deep down hoping that he loses, so that you become the number one pound for pound, right?
No, not at all.
Come on, you could be number one.
I've been number one for a while. And like I said, he farted and blew right past me. And so, like I said, man, I don't get too hung up on those things. It changes nothing for me. It does not change my preparation and going into my next fight. It's just, how the world sees me.
Okay, let's end on this whole Tough 24 thing. What is going on here? Can you shed some light? You've been talking about it. You've been name dropping me left and right, and I appreciate that. But what is really going on with this story?
I have no idea. Like I said, this is something the UFC is involved with. First time I found out was from you. Like I said, I was coming home from the swimming, and you said Tough 24 ? And I was like, go on. And then you're like, it's the flyweights. I'm like, okay, bye. And I was like, I have a fight coming up. I go home, I load up on Twitch. My name is UFC 125. Follow me there. And the next thing you know, the fans are coming on there telling me the whole logistics of it. And I was like, dude, I had no idea. I was like, Irwani told me that it was flyweights, but I didn't know that the flyweight fighter was going to get it. So it was the first time of me getting that information. Now, if the UFC would have came to me and told me this and said, hey, this is the whole logistics before, I don't want nobody else knowing about it. I want to tell you first. My reaction could have been completely different. It could be completely different. But that was the first time I got the news and understand the whole process of it. And I keep it real on my stream, So that's how it went down. So like I said, the UFC does what they do, and Demetrious Johnson takes care of himself. So and the UFC has so much stuff going on. They have so many athletes that they have to deal with that. Maybe they didn't think they want to divulge that information, which is fine. I'm not butthurt about it. I'm not upset that, Dana, you should have called me. You should. Dude, Dana
nice though.
It been nice, but Dana might have been playing golf. I know.
Doesn't seem like the golf type.
Well, I'm just saying, Dana White life does not revolve around Demetrious Johnson, and so it happens, man. It's all good. I'm not even upset about it.
And speaking of which, last week Jon Dotson was asked about this, and he was saying, "Did you see these comments?
Yeah,
I saw you
and shout out to you, Irwani.
I didn't ask.
Sticking up for him.
Oh yeah.
The boy, Mighty Mouse. Yeah, man. Like I said, I was like, if I was scared, then why would I say, If I was like, dude, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go out and find the guys who are not in the UFC already, who are not ranked 1 or 2 in the world. Don't let them in the house. This should be easy cake. But here I am. I'm like, dude, throw Joseph in that house. Dawson get in there too if he wants a third rematch. Who else? Shoot, throw everybody in the flyweight division and throw some dudes out there. And I was like, we'll see who reigns supreme in
We're actually sticking up for those guys.
I was sticking up for those guys. I'm sticking up for them, And then he's like, blah, 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 blah. I would have coached the whole show. And I'm like, grow up, Dotson. But yeah, like I said, the backlash comes, and it is what it is, man.
Good to see you as always. Thank you for the time. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.